So we started to talk about the total cost. What measures the total cost and how the profit is going to be calculated and how to derive the revenue. We said in order to calculate the revenue, there are two views that are existing. It's one view is economist, the other one is accountant. In terms of the economics view, it is important to understand that the total cost is divided into two parts. One is the implicit cost, the other one is the explicit cost. The implicit cost, they're costs that you cannot see it, but still you can just understand that if you have not done it, if you could have earned it, like doing some job, you could have worked somewhere else, you could have earned other money as well. This is money that you lose it. Like it's not in monetary base, but actually you could have earned it, but you didn't earn it. So this is how it measures. So economic profit is much lower in contrast to the accounting profit, because in accounting view, we don't have any implicit costs. In accounting view, we only measure monetary inflow and outflow. That something comes beyond this monetary issue, it is not considered by accountant. This is what we have discussed. Then we said that there is a marginal product issue, that the number of the workers in a specific factory, they produce specific amount of the units, cookies, we can say that. And the marginal product is measuring a change in output by additional one worker, by additional one unit, how much your output is going to change. It's shown the marginal product, and we saw that the marginal product is diminishing, has got a trend of diminishing order, like it decreases as the number of the additional workers is added, so it's going downward. And apart from that, we calculated total cost, which is a cost of factory. We said it is the fixed cost, and the cost of workers are the variable cost, that thing that we're going to talk a little bit later. And the summation of it, we're going to get the total cost. So coming to the diagram, the relationship between the production function and the total cost curve, we have to see that that as total production is growing, the total cost curve is growing as well. However, they are growing in a different way. When the production function, as it grows, adding by additional workers, increasing the number of the quantity here, but eventually in the long run, it becomes flatter. So it becomes flatter. However, in the total cost case, as the number of the workers is higher, the total cost increases, the quantity increases, eventually it becomes steeper. But what does this mean? When it becomes flatter, when it becomes steeper? When it becomes flatter in terms of the production, which means that increasing the number of the workers, at the end of the day, you will not be able to increase the output as much as you want, but you will increase the cost. You will incur more cost. This is in terms of the production. When you increase the production level by hiring the number of the workers, extra workers, you will increase the total cost. As you can see, it's upward sloping, and it becomes eventually steeper. So in here, what is realize that increasing the number of the workers is higher, it definitely is increasing your cost. But eventually, your total cost curve becomes steeper, which means you will not be able to save any money by hiring more workers, because you reached your maximum level of production. Then you won't be able to produce anything. Anyone who are hired extra, additionally, that will increase the cost only. Your production will be stable in the long run. So it is not the necessary thing to go with production level increasing by increasing the additional workers. And we have come up with this type of table as well. We said there is an output, there's a total cost, which consists of fixed and the variable cost, this total cost. And then we calculate the average and the variable and the average total cost in the following way. Like to calculate the average fixed cost, we divide the fixed cost, we divide by the number of the output that was produced in that period. and that would give you the average variable. And the average total cost is done in the same way, like total cost is divided by the number of the output. It gives you the same here. So and it proceeds from the 0 to 10. So you can see here. But one thing you should keep in mind, to find the average total cost is just summation of so in here, summation of the average fixed cost and the average variable cost. When it comes to the marginal cost, it is measuring incremental change in the cost by changing the quantity. So we can see that by how much it changes in here. Okay, the marginal cost is changing quantity divided by changing the cost. So this is total cost curve, how it has been derived. Okay. Okay, the last thing that we talked about, relationship between the marginal cost, average total cost, average variable cost, and average fixed cost. Here I can tell you that the average total cost is consistent, the average fixed cost and the average fixed cost and the average variable cost. But average fixed cost has got a manner of reducing because it's a fixed. As the number of the workers is being hired, it produces more units. So increasing the production, it will reduce the average fixed cost eventually. However, increasing the number of the units production, it reduces the average variable cost until some point. Then after that, it starts to increasing. So basically, we should consider the average total cost that is consistent of average variable cost and the average fixed cost. We can say that we said that the marginal cost, when it intersects with the average total cost, it just underlines the minimum point of average total cost where it can be reached, because all the firms, they put the aim to reach its goal to minimize their cost, and this is the point where they're minimizing the cost of producing something. So this is the point it will have efficient scale. And we said this is all things are done in the short run. There's a differentiation between short run and the long run. These are the short run curves, like the 3 short run curves, and the red curve is U-shaped curve, is the long run curve. But with the one distinction, at the beginning, when it's initially stable, initially stage of life, the phase of life, we can say, it has got the economic of scale, like less input, more output. I mean, the company or the factory will incur less cost, but will bring more output. But when it moves to the second phase, where the long run average total cost curve becomes more flatter, where the cost is not accrued by increasing the number, so you can increase the quantity, but your total cost will be remaining same. However, when you reach to the third phase, you start to go with this economy of scale, which means that more input, less output, where this coordination of the work task, it takes the place. You cannot coordinate your work properly. That's why you start to incur more cost. By this coordinating, I mean in here, if you have a factory where you have 4 machines only, and only 4 workers can work in these machines, like for each worker there's 1 machine. If you hire 1 more worker, it would not be efficient as it is like with the 4 workers, because these 4 machines are dedicated only for 4 workers. By hiring 1 additional worker, you will increase only the cost, not the output. So this is what I wanted to review it. Now we can move to discuss the questions. Okay, let's start with the question review. So with the first question, what is the relationship between the firm's total revenue, profit, and the total cost? So the relationship in here is very obvious, that it shows the firm's total revenue, profit, total cost is equaling the total revenue minus total cost, which will give you the profit. So basically, if we just want to write the equation itself, it is, so total, the profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Will give you the profit. This is the relationship between these variables. Okay. Now coming to the second question. Give an example of an opportunity cost that accountant might not count as a cost. And why would accountant ignore this cost? We already talked about it. We said that accountant would not count the owner's opportunity cost for alternative employment. Like if you're hired in this one place, let's say you're working in a KPMG and you're receiving the salary, and let's say 100,000 tenge as just an example. And at the same time, you could have worked in another place, like in a bank, that could have paid you 60,000 tenge. I'm just making up the numbers. So your cost as opportunity would be equal to 60,000. But the accountant, they do not take it into consideration because this is not the monetary evaluated. So that's why we shouldn't take it into consideration. As accountant, they take into consideration that it has got the real cash inflow and the cash outflow. But the opportunity code, like you could have earned it, you could have spent it, is just hypothetical issue that which economist view takes into consideration. So this is the second question. When it comes to what is the marginal product and what does it mean if it's diminishing, we said the marginal product is the increase in the output that comes from the additional unit of input. Like adding one more unit, it will create the marginal product, a change in output. Diminishing marginal product here refers to the marginal product of input declines as the quantity of input increases. More simply, it means that as you hire more workers, as you add up additional workers to increase the quantity, basically the efficiency of increase will go down. It will not be efficient as much as it was before. Same, I can give you the example we had in the previous chapters. It was related to marginal benefit, like drinking one Coke will give you some benefit, but drinking second Coke, it will give you the benefit, but that benefit will not be the same as the first one. Drinking the third bottle of the Coke will not give you the same benefit as it was in the second and definitely in the first one. So once you drink more and more, it will reduce the benefit. Same thing in here. Okay, draw the production function that exhibits the marginal product for labor. Draw the associated line, total cost curve. So we discussed these curves, guys. We reviewed it. We said there is two curves that are correlated. Let me just make it like this. We said that, oops. So this is, let's say, for total cost. This is production, and it's like this. This is production function. And this is total cost. So as we said, as you proceed with the output, workers, total cost, or this is output as well. So as you proceed with the output, my handwriting is so terrible. So this is quantity, and this is quantity. This is workers, and this is total cost. Yes. As you proceed with the outputs, as you increase the number of the workers, this will increase the production level until some point, until here, okay? And after that, the production level will be the same, but the workers, if you still could keep increasing the workers. However, if you still keep increasing the workers, this will increase the total cost, and your production level will increase until some level, but at that time it will be fixed, so it will not change. Only the thing that will change is the total cost and the workers, because as you increase the workers, you have to pay more wages to them. That may increase the total cost. So this is the relationship between these two variables, like production function and the total cost. Okay, let's move, let's say defining the total cost, average total cost. I think that we don't need to define it because we already defined what is the total cost, average total cost, the marginal cost, how they're calculated. Everything is already obvious. We already reviewed it. Coming to the question number 6. Draw the marginal cost, average total cost, and the typical for the firm. Explain the curves. Like as an example, there was a like average total cost and the marginal cost. We said this. Oops. So this is the diagram. This is, let's say, average total cost. And this is marginal cost. So they're telling us to describe the relationship. The relationship is obvious that we talked already. That intersection between a point of, let's say, M, minimum point, it is crossing the average total cost. It just underlines the minimum point of the average total cost. This is where the total cost is minimized, where the marginal cost is intersecting here. So if the marginal cost is below this curve, here the marginal cost curve is below, we can say that average total cost is going down. If marginal cost is going above the average total cost, then the average total cost starts increasing. This is the relationship between these two curves for a specific, for a typical firm. Okay, how and the firms into average and total cost in the short run and the long run. Okay, we're gonna. So how the firm and why does the firm average total cost curve differ in the short run? Because in the short run they have a capacity to change. Sorry, in the short run they don't have the capacity to change, but in the long run the firm they have the capacity to change. We talked about it, and basically in the long run the firm can adjust the factors of production, and that are fixed already. But in the short run they cannot be, because they are already fixed. You cannot change it. If you have a factory which is 4 machines, again with the same example, if you want to expand it, you cannot expand it immediately. So you have to get some time, like 1 or 2 years, to expand your business, to add more machines. It will require the time. That's why in the short run it's not possible to do it. And defining the economy of scale and diseconomy of scale. So we said the economy of scale exists when the long run average total cost decreases as the quantity of output increases, and which occurs because of the workers are more specialized. This economy of scales exists when the long run average total cost increases. If you remember that big red line, it was like this. So until here we have economic of scale, and after that we have diseconomy of scale. So this is diseconomy of scale, and this is economy of scale, and this is the average total cost curve, long run, by the way. So economy of scale exists when average total cost curve in the long run decreases as the quantity increases, but this economy of scale is that when the average total cost increases in the long run, because the quantity increases. And the reasons that it happens in the first case, we said the workers